In this video, I'm just going to do a few examples with transformations for the sine and cosine graphs. So to start, I have number 2. I have y equals 2 times sine of x minus pi over 2. I have, first of all, this 2 in front tells me the amplitude of my graph is 2. Then I know that I have a 1 in front of everything inside of the function, so I know that that is my b is equal to 1. To find the period, I'm going to do 2 pi over 1, or 2 pi over b. And then that's going to get me that the period is 2 pi, which is the regular case that I see in the parent function. And then I see this minus pi over 2 inside, which tells me that I'm moving everything to the right pi over 2. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the scale of my graph before I do anything else. I know the period is 2 pi, which means I'm going to count by 2 pi over 4, because there's 4 special changes or places in each cycle on a sine or cosine graph. Or this is, when I simplify it, pi over 2. So the scale is going to start at pi over 2 on the right-hand side of the origin. So this place right here is going to be pi over 2. Then I'm going to have add pi over 2 to that. I get pi. Then add another pi over 2, and I get 3 pi over 2. And then I'll have 2 pi, then 5 pi over 2, then 3 pi. And this is something we've seen before. This is the scale in the parent function. I'm going to graph that before I do anything else. So this is pi over 2, this is pi, this is 3 pi over 2, this is 2 pi, this is 5 pi over 2, and this is 3 pi. Then on the other side I have negative pi over 2, and this is negative pi, and this is negative 3 pi over 2, and this is negative 2 pi. Then I have negative 5 pi over 2, and negative 3 pi. From there, I'm going to draw my new x and y axis based on my vertical and horizontal shifts. I only have a horizontal shift here. So because I only have a horizontal shift, I am going to only change my y-axis is going to change. And so my new y-axis will be right pi over 2, which will be right here, right pi over 2. This is my new y-axis. And that's going to help me to make sure that I change every point to the right pi over 2 in the easiest way possible. So I took care of that, and now I just have to, and I took care of the period, and I just have to take care of the shape and the amplitude. To know what the shape is going to start off looking like, I'm going to look at a model for y equals, this is positive sine of theta or x. And in this case, what I would have is I would start at the origin, and then I would be going up to the maximum, then back to the middle, then down to the minimum, and then back up to the middle. So I would have this shape repeating over and over. The important thing to note is that I'm going to start at the origin. So I'll be starting at the new origin and going upwards. And that's what I'm going to do on this graph. So I'm going to start at the new origin, which is right here. And then I'm going to go up the amplitude up to at my next special place. And then 3 pi over 2, at 3 pi over 2, I'll be back at the middle, then down to, then back at the middle, then up to, and that will be what it looks like on the right-hand side of the new y-axis, and then I continue that pattern to the left. So my next special place is 0, even though I didn't draw that, it's 0 there, and I need to make sure I'm including it. Then I go to the middle, then to the max, then to the middle, then to the minimum, the middle, and then up to the maximum. And this is what my graph is going to look like when I connect everything in a smooth curve. Make sure you're not doing lines. They should be curves. It should look like a wave, not Charlie Brown's shirt. Actually, I don't know what Charlie Brown's shirt looked like. I think it's up and down in straight lines, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't do that. No lines, curves. Okay, then that's what my graph looks like. I'm going to move to the example number 3. What I want to note first is that I have a negative in front, which is going to be a reflection over the x-axis. I'm going to keep that in mind. Since this is cosine, I know I'm going to be starting at the minimum then, and it's going to look like this. Then I also have inside, this whole thing is inside of cosine. If it's next to cosine, then I have the 1/2 in front. This is my b value. Since I know my b is equal to 1/2, I'm going to do 2 pi. To find the period, I'm going to do 2 pi divided by 1/2, which is the same as 2 pi times 2/1, which gives me 4 pi. So the period is 4 pi that I need to keep in mind. Then I have this plus pi inside, which means I'm moving to the left pi. And then I know that if I'm moving to the left pi, that's going to change my y-axis. And then I know that I have this minus 3 on the outside, which tells me I'm moving everything down 3, which is going to affect my x-axis. So first thing I'm going to start with is I know the period is 4 pi, which means that I'm going to count by 4 pi over 4 or pi. And that's easy. The scale then I know is going to be pi, then 2 pi, then 3 pi, then 4 pi, then 5 pi, etc. So I'm going to put that on my graph here. I have pi and 2 pi and 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi, 6 pi, and same in the other direction, except negative 4 pi, negative 5 pi, and negative 6 pi. And then I'm going to draw my new x-axis and my new y-axis. So the new, if I move left pi, then the new y-axis, this is going to change, is going to be at negative, where x is negative pi. So I'm going to put the new y-axis there. Make that a little better looking. There we go. This is my new y-axis. Then I want to draw my new x-axis. So my new x-axis is going to be down 3. So at y equals negative 3, right here. This is my new y-axis. And then I'm going to, I took care of this, I took care of this, and now I also took care of the period, and now I just have to take care of the shape. So I'm going to look at the model. I drew a little model here, but I'm just going to draw it a little bit better. The model is going to be for y equals a negative cosine of x. And what that means is my start is going to be at the minimum. I'm going to go to the middle, then to the maximum, then to the middle, and then back to the minimum. So it's going to look like this. The important thing to note is I'm going to start at the minimum on the y-axis. And it's going to be the new y-axis for this graph. So at the new y-axis, I'm going to go down 1, because that's the amplitude. Then my next special point is going to be at 0 for x, and it's going to be in the middle. Then for pi, which is my next special place, I'm going to be up 1, then to the middle, then down 1, then to the middle, then up 1, then down to the middle. And on the other side, middle, max, middle, min, middle. And then I'm going to connect these in a smooth curve and make sure I have the arrows at the ends indicating that I'm going on and on forever. And that's what my graph looks like. Then my last example is going to be number 4. I have a reflection over the x-axis. I need to keep that in mind. I have a 4 in front, which tells me the amplitude is 4. I have the thing that's going to change. Oh, actually, I'm going to rewrite this equation because it's not in the template that I need it to be in, because I have the way that the inside of sine is written, it's not showing me what my horizontal transformation is going to be immediately. So what I'm going to do, just like in Algebra 2, is when the inside has something in front of the x and then also something that's being added, and that thing is not in parentheses, like is not in front of both the x and whatever's the second term inside, that's going to tell me my horizontal shift. I'm going to take out that thing that's in front. So I'm going to take out a 2, and this is actually going to be written as 2 times x plus pi. And then I can very easily see that how I'm moving. I'm actually shifting to the left pi. This is something from Algebra 2. Now I can start looking at the transformation. So the negative in front, I said reflection over the x-axis. The 4 in front tells me amplitude is 4. The 2 in front in the inside tells me that I have the period is going to be 2 pi over 2, or it's going to be pi. Then I have this plus x. Instead of the plus 2x is going to tell me I'm moving to the left pi. And then this plus 3 on the outside is going to tell me that I'm moving up 3. Okay, and so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start with the period being 4, or pi. And so I'm going to count by, that means I'm going to count by pi divided by 4. So I'm going to have, first thing on my scale is 1 times pi over 4, then I'll have 2 times pi over 4, then 3 times pi over 4, then 4 times pi over 4, 5 times it, and then 6 times it, and that should be all that I have on both sides. So this is going to be, the scale is going to be, the first one is going to be pi over 4, then the second is going to be 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2, and then I'm going to have 3 pi over 4, which doesn't simplify, and then 4 pi over 4, which is just pi. My fourth term should always be the period, whatever it is. 5 pi over 4 is what I have next, and then I have 6 pi over 4, which is 3 pi over 2. This is going to be my scale. So I have pi over 4, the next thing was pi over 2, then 3 pi over 4, then pi, then 5 pi over 4, then 3 pi over 2. I want to write the scale simplified, then I have negative pi over 4, negative pi over 2, negative 3 pi over 4, negative pi, negative 5 pi over 4, and negative 3 pi over 2. From there, I'm going to draw my new x-axis and my new y-axis. I'm going to move everything left pi, so my new x-axis, my new y-axis, should be here. That takes care of that. And then I'm moving everything up 3, so my new y-axis should be, oh my god, I keep doing this. New x-axis should be here. And that takes care of that. And then I took care of my scale already. And now I just have to look at what the model looks like and draw from the new origin. So the model will look like y equals negative sine of x. Negative sine of x is going to start at the middle. It's going to go downwards to start. Downwards, then upwards. Not to the top. It's going to be at the middle, then to the maximum, and then back to the middle. So it's going to look like this. And so the important thing to note is I start at the origin, and go down. And so I'm going to start at the origin, and I'm going to go at the new origin, and then I'm going to go down 4 at my next special place, which is negative 3 pi over 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 will get me right here. It's a little annoying because it's on top of there, the scale. Then at negative pi over 2, I'm going to be back at the middle, then back at the maximum. You cannot go from the maximum to the minimum or from the minimum to the maximum. Remember, you always have to go back to the middle. So to the middle. Oh, I didn't go up enough. 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. Middle, minimum, middle, maximum, middle, minimum, middle. And then on the other side, minimum, nope, maximum, sorry, middle, and then like this is how I'm going to connect everything. And this is what my graph looks like. Make sure it's going on and on forever, to the left and to the right, and we're done.